I'm Lynn.
And I'm Leo. Welcome back to Yoga with Lynn and Leo.
Yes, and today we've had a request to actually show some ways of working with overmobility. So we're talking about the legs and when the knees start to push into the back of the knee. So we've got some equipment here Leo's going to go through.
So you'll need a blanket, a foam pad, a yoga brick and a belt.
Okay, so we're
I'm going to start with brick. Alright, shall I turn around and show you behind? Right, so the brick is going to go here, on the meatiest part of your calves.
Alright, so it's a little bit difficult to do this by yourself, but it can be done. And you'll see as we actually come into this action, if Leo walks back towards this brick into the belly of the calf, it's hard for her to straighten her legs, and this is where we really want her to be, so that she has to really pull up above that knee. So it's a really important point. So those of you who overuse the knees, you have to start working these thighs. It's very important. So when you're in this position, it sends you on a completely different pathway through the body. You can feel the difference there. So this is a really good way to practice to try to tame that action. Alright, so once you've understood that, then we come on to the next preparation. So for the next preparation, we're going to use the belt. And the belt goes around the outer calves. So Leo's going to demonstrate here. Okay. And with this action, you can see the legs are still apart, but actually there's some connection with the outer shin. There's a connection with the back of the calf. So the back of the calf, as you saw with this brick, needed to really move towards the bone side. And with that feeling and sensation with this belt, you're seeing that the seams of the outer calves are really working very strongly. So there's an inner lift. So again, the inner lift of the inner leg, the inner knee, and the inner thigh needs to come. This is another way you can practice trying to get the legs a little bit more dynamic in terms of alignment. And then once you've managed to practice this and understood it and felt that imprint in your leg, then just take a look at our next option. So this is something we come across all the time in the classes where there's a disconnect with the legs. And sometimes it's very difficult to get the lift in the thighs if the knees are not supporting the body. So we have to see that we retrain all of those muscles so that the knee gets that protection.
Yeah, so if you have been doing some of our sequences with us and you've heard the instruction, lift those kneecaps, and you don't know how to do that, or you don't know if you're doing it when you're doing it, then probably this little sequence will be very helpful for you.
Yes, and it's really good to register these imprints. It's very important for later on. Okay, so we're going to use the foam pad now. Now the foam pad you can use between your thighs. So it's not actually your thighs, tell a lie. It's between the knees. Now as you bend your legs, the foam pad has got to be in line with the thighs. So it's not like that. So the foam pad is lining up with the inner knees, the inner thighs, and you grip the inner thigh. And when you lift up, you're not using your legs to start with. You have to lift so much out of the pelvis with this action. So much is lifted. These lower ribs are lifted, the chest is lifted, so that gradually the whole of the upper body will pull those legs right up. So keep squeezing, keep extending, and keep reaching in an upward direction. So this is another way to get a little bit more life in the legs. You may find that one of these methods will be better than another, but just have a go at all four that we're going to show you today. Okay, feels quite nice, doesn't it?
Just quite nice.
It's a nice action.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to come for our fourth method, and we're going to show now a forward-facing pose. So Leo's going to come into the beginning of Parsvottanasana. Now, when she comes into this is quite tough actually on the front leg.
Yes.
Leo's not looking forward to this.
No.
But this will just give you the real understanding of straightening the leg. Now, I want you to see that for Leo, this is a little bit too high, this support here. And, you know, believe me, you will get cramp in this calf. You know, it's such a tough action. But what you've got to do is to see that you straighten the leg and you pull up with these thighs. But it's very difficult to go into the back of the knee with this action. So this is a really good way to practice. And from here, of course, you can come into your Parsvottanasana. We're not going to demonstrate the pose, but this is the start of the forward-facing pose, and it's quite easy. I'm going to show you, Leo, how Leo can drop this leg slightly. Can you see how the whole leg drops? Now, if this is just too much for you, we've got a little bit of a smaller support. You can put your heel onto the blanket. But it's quite good to start with that foam pad because actually it forces you into working. I don't think this works so well for you actually, Leo. This one worked better.
No.
So that's our 4 ways of how to improve the legs in all your poses and to get connection with the upper thighs.
So if you're somebody for whom this is relevant in the legs, it will also be something that affects your arms and elbow joints, most probably. So we will be doing another sequence for overmobility of the arms and the elbow joints, so that you can work with more stability in your poses where there's any weight onto the arms. Here we've been working on the legs where there's more weight onto the legs.
Yes, and for news of our channel, do subscribe.
Thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you again soon.
Namaste.
Namaste.